Good evening, guys. Welcome on to another NFL preview presented by Fanshare Sports. I'm your host, Matt Gannon, joined by a very special guest. You guys already know who this is, Jeff Feinberg. Thank you for joining me.
Anytime, Matt. Although I think I might have bailed on you last week. So I take
It's,
back anytime, but
it's
most of the time you need me, I'm here to throw down golf, football,
yeah,
whatever you want to talk. I'm always game. Usually
yeah.
game.
Usually, most of the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeff's been good to me so far. So we got NFL Week 5. It's officially game night. We have Thursday Night Football. Colts Broncos kick it off in less than an hour. Kind of a whatever game. The Broncos are like the NFL's darling. I guess they just play every primetime game. It hasn't been fun so far, but maybe Russ and the boys will turn it around. But we'll get there when we get there. How has your NFL season gone thus far? What is your key takeaways 4 weeks into the season?
Betting wise, it's been really good for me. I'm 3-1 on like my top pick, gold pick. The Chargers are 3-1 ATS. So like I guess between my gold pick and betting the Chargers, biasedly, are usually my biggest bets of the week, and that's worked out. So in that aspect, it has been good. My takeaway is, I guess, I live in my own little orbit, but it seems like there are a lot of holes in the AFC that I don't think a lot of us really saw coming into the year. Just the West clearly not being as strong as people had thought. And the question marks just sort of all over the place. It's really an open door for anybody, right? Like record wise,
Yeah.
everyone is like a game and a half out of first place. You win that division head to head and your season is kind of saved. So not panicking, and we'll
Yeah.
probably even laugh at some of the week 2 results we overreacted to in like a month from now. But yeah, I guess overall my biggest takeaway is the AFC does not seem to be the powerhouse that we thought it would be, or certainly I did.
Yeah, I mean, it's a month into the NFL season. You could take so much from 4 games. We know we had our thoughts going into the season, and some of them got completely flipped around already. Happens year after year in the NFL. You can never take stuff too seriously, even a month into the season. So let's jump into the slate. We'll start with TNF, and I'll bring on the screen. Colts versus the Broncos. This line was, I think it was 2.5, jumped up to 3. Then JT went out up to 3.5. Broncos, another primetime game, like I said. What are your thoughts on this game?
I don't really have a strong lean, Matt, but it's prime time, and I guess I'll find myself betting it. Either I think I'm going to take the 3.5 with the Colts, or I'm going to just be real conservative and not really want to make an opinion and maybe just start a football weekend teaser with the Colts to 10.5, because Denver, I mean, they're averaging 16 points a game. So for them to beat a team by 4, I don't know. I feel like Indy can get to that number. Just really interesting stat that just came across my screen just before we started, Matt. First year head coaches, rookie head coaches in their first ever Thursday night game, which I think you only play one a year anyway, so every rookie head coach would have gotten one, 8-18 ATS. And I bet you a lot of those rookie head coaches had a lot better starts to their careers than Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah.
I ain't laying this number with the Broncos. It's Colts or nothing for me. A little DGen primetime wager probably.
Yeah, I agree with you. The only thing I'm having action-wise for this game is me and my partner at Jersey Betting. We tease 6-point tease every single primetime game. Last year we went positive, so we're doing it again. Take a side in the total. Rarely ever do we tease through 0, but I feel like the Broncos are on the verge of having a breakout game. They have gotten inside the 10-yard line and scored the least points out of anyone in the NFL. It's in the first 2 games, I think they had 5 drives inside the 10, and they came away with like 6 points. We saw those 2 fumbles in week 1. They kind of turned it around since then. I think the Broncos get it done, even though I was fairly high on the Colts this year. But no JT. I feel like Melvin Gordon's a viable backup for the running back. And will Russ turn something on? I don't know. Fantasy-wise, I think these backup running backs are kind of a coin flip. I would go with Melvin Gordon if you had to, but with these offenses and with it's just they're so weird because we see flashes of both of these offenses. Wow, these teams can score points, but then next game they'll show up versus the worst team in the league and look like the worst team in the league. So I don't think you really want to dive too much into this game betting-wise because it's just kind of a coin flip in my opinion.
These are 2 teams, Matt, honest to God, a lot of bettors, I think, are sad to see them playing each other. They're two teams I
Yeah,
think a lot of us probably would have liked to have picked on this week in other
right.
matchups, and we don't sort of get that opportunity. That's really my main takeaway when, Sunday nights come into an end. You're like, oh, what's that Thursday nighter? Colts Broncos. I want to bet against both those goddamn teams.
Right.
That doesn't even mean that doesn't even say, I wouldn't be shocked if the game went over that 42. I'm not really here to pick on it in that sense. But if either of these two teams were catching competent opponents and coaches right now, we'd probably be ready to step in front of them again. Because it's sort of how I look at everything. You are expecting that breakthrough performance from Denver. As a Charger fan, I am nervous that it doesn't come tonight, but they'll have like 15 days till Monday Night Football, or not 15. My math's off. 11 or something till Monday Night Football next week, where they play the Chargers. So I don't want to see Denver get back on track, but I don't want to see that volcano erupt against me either, Matt.
Right. I totally understand what you're saying. So I think the Broncos will get it done. It's going to be a weird game. We will move on to another London game, Giants and Green Bay. We have Green Bay up to 8-point favorites now on DraftKings Sportsbook. The first London game was actually really fun. Don't know how the Vikings escaped with a win and he covered at least the opening number, but I don't love these London games because you got to wake up early and then it's football forever. But what do you think happens here with Green Bay laying 8 against the, I guess, pesky Giants, who just Green Bay just laid a dud against New England? So what do you think happens here?
Yeah. I hope this doesn't become a trend with me sort of on the side of the touchdown plus favorites this week. It does seem like we have a few of them.
We do.
I like the Packers here. I like them to get off the mat. Last week, people were so excited about Khalil Herbert versus the Giants and how bad the rushing attack was. But fact of the matter is, it's the goddamn Bears. They're not able. The Bears are not a good enough team where they can just be like, oh, that's your weakness? We're going to dominate it. No, they are not. But the Giants suck at stopping the run. The Packers they will be able to take advantage of that in the ways certainly the Bears could not. Aaron Jones goes off. I know sometimes you're splitting hairs or you're tempted to pay down for A.J. Dillon. I got a feeling not to do that this week in DFS either. Aaron Jones, big league performance in London as the day starts early. That's my lean on that one.
Yeah, we saw A.J. Dillon have that breakout week 1. It was like, oh, is this going to be an A.J. Dillon season, a two-headed monster in Green Bay? Started to head back to Aaron Jones thus far. Saquon Barkley is having the best running back season so far out of any of the running backs. I think he's RB1, but I don't know if you want to pay. I mean, 7.9 is not crazy. I don't know if you want to pay that price for him against this Packers defense is legit. They are going to be one of the best defenses all year. I thought they would be, and they're proving that. They're going to have to carry Aaron Rodgers until he gets comfortable with his receivers, and it's kind of happening a little slowly. Before you know it, the Packers are going to be 6-1, 5-1, because looking ahead of their schedule, it's not good. So they should win this game easily. I was very disappointed in what they did last week versus New England. I feel like they just had Brian Hoyer in the back of their mind. Then Bailey Zappi came in. We're like, we're going to win this easily. And it came down to a game-winning field goal in overtime. And they probably should have lost that game. But hopefully the Packers get rolling. I think they will here. But the Giants are I feel like Daniel Jones could just have a weird career game in London when no one's watching. That was my Kirk Cousins thing last week, and it almost came to fruition. But I just feel like, okay, we wake up at what time? Oh, Daniel Jones has 2 touchdown passes in the first half, and the Giants are up 14-3. Like, I can just see that happening. I don't think it will, but it would be hilarious if Daniel Jones did it in London. But at the end of the day, I think the Packers should have no problem here.
Not a strong lean for me, but I don't see Daniel Jones doing that with those giant receivers. And I lean Packers.
London just leads to weird things. Is the only reason I said that.
Yep.
All right. We will move on to 2 touchdown favorites, Buffalo and the Steelers. Do you think the spread is viable? Do you think the Buffalo gets there?
Yeah, I don't think the spread is wrong. Buffalo, they've kind of been sloppy on the road. We only have one example of them at home this year versus the Titans. Someone that's kind of close to the vibe in Western New York here geographically. I don't know, man. I feel like every Sunday at Orchard Park is going to be an absolute hornet's nest, Matt.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Steelers go through the tables. I lay the 14.
Yeah.
The way that their pass rush, I I get why they're going to pick it, but I would have tried to massage that situation a little
A little
better.
more. Yeah.
Maybe with what would, from a scheduling perspective. I could see this game getting out of hand, and that would be my lean. I got no confidence in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I would say Bills are nothing here. I mean, obviously these Bills receivers and skill position guys are expensive. The Bills put up points at will. The past 2 weeks they've looked a little slow in the first half and then kind of figured it out. Not in Miami, obviously, but we saw what they did in Baltimore. But yeah, I think it's the Bills or nothing because Kenny Pickett. This is a very hostile environment in Buffalo, like you said. Bills fans are Super Bowl or bust this year. They're going to be coming at every game crazy. And the Steelers defense, the Steelers entire team is an entire different atmosphere with TJ Watt in the lineup versus him not. So he's not there. And it's night and day. It's really one of the biggest cases we see in the entire NFL, like how different they look with him there versus him not there. So I think it's Bills or nothing here.
I agree. Pittsburgh doesn't have linebackers. The Bills will just be able to take advantage. Assuming they don't stall in the red zone, this will be 14 points. I'm going to call it an easy cover. And it's not a game I'm looking to bet, but it's a full Bulls Bills lean.
Yeah, agreed. All right, we'll move on to another touchdown ugly game maybe. Atlanta and Tampa Bay, NFC South. A lot going on with Tom Brady in the news right now. I don't know what you make of that. It's just so. Is he gonna play? We didn't practice yesterday. He's gonna play, but like, how does that result in the number? Did they play this game close? On Monday I teased the Bucs through 2. I still feel okay about that, but like, there's so much going on in Tampa with this AB stuff now on social media. I don't know what to make of this game. What do you think?
Okay, geez. Like this game came up on the board here, and I'm like, oh man, now I got to tout another favorite. I don't know why, Matt. I am laying so much pulp, so many points this week, all that juice. And I'll probably find these guys into teasers like you. I think the Buccaneers absolutely shit kick these guys. Atlanta, the 4-0 ATS. Brady, I don't know, man. Angry in the news. He is just going to wizard that shit. It'll look more like the offense in the second half of the Chiefs game. Okay, there's a couple angles to this thing for me. The Buccaneers have had a real hard defensive schedule, Matt.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City, New Orleans Saints, and I feel Green Bay Packers. Boom, boom, boom. Man, this is just such a step down for them. The receivers are back. Like Atlanta, people don't want to bet against them because they're 4-0 ATS. It seemed like a fun team.
Yeah, they're going to be a popular pick, I think, now that you said that. 4-0 ATS with all the stuff going with Brady.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of the personal stuff. If anything, that just like will have
motivation,
more focused, or like I'll give you guys something to freaking talk about. Buccaneers roll like they roll. Even the Atlanta Falcons, who have they played?
Seattle, Cleveland.
The Ram game where they got the cover.
Yeah. Backdoor,
like the Rams killed them. The Rams moved the ball with such ease in that game. And you know what happens in the NFL? Things get weird, things get sloppy. I'm not making excuses for the Rams. I'm just saying if you actually watch that game closely, I don't think the final score was as close.
Yeah,
Atlanta had a block kick.
Backdoor.
Like a lot of weird shit. This is a step up for Atlanta, step down for Tampa. No, this is the first time we probably feel like, oh, baby, like Tampa. Yeah. And I don't even love Tampa. I would even pick them for the under on the season, but they're going to look so good on Sunday.
That Brady revenge angle, plus I don't know how the Falcons move against this Tampa defense, especially off that loss. So the Tampa defense is legit. The only bad outing they had was versus Kansas City offense. Okay, that's the Kansas City offense, but so I think they're going to roll as well. I think Leonard Fournette is an absolute hammer at 6'9" this week. $1,000 cheaper than Saquon. Leonard Fournette, they rested him in the second half because he's going to be the guy going forward to get all these touches. He literally tweeted out, wait, fantasy owners, I'm going to score soon. I think it's coming. The receivers are in shambles kind of for Tampa. They're slowly coming back. I think Leonard Fournette is an absolute hammer, especially if it gets out of hand early. Leonard Fournette is going to get a lot of carries and a lot, especially in the red zone. I think Leonard Fournette is an absolute hammer DFS play this week. So do what you want with that. We will move on to the NFC North. Bears head to the Vikings. Vikings off of that weird win in London. Thankfully, I got the 2.5. It was my biggest bet of the season. Vikings minus 2.5. Closed at like 4. That was lucky, and I will be the first one to say did not deserve that one. The Vikings look horrible. I got lucky, but I do think they bounced back against. I don't want to say bounce back from a win, but bounce back from looking objectively horrific in the second half versus the Saints. I think they get it done, cover this number versus the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm laying more points. I'm laying so many, the bag of points.
So many points.
I feel like I am laying this weekend in the NFL is kind of embarrassing. I don't know. And maybe like the blind strategy of like picking all one side of it is
one side's got to win. So yeah.
But the only thing that's kind of concerning about this game is people are hammering the Vikings, and for good reason. Like the Vikings, no one wants to bet the Bears, and the line isn't moving. They're staying hard on that 7. I still, how do I put this? I'm not sure how good the Vikings are, but I still feel like this spread is small.
Yeah, 1 touchdown at home. Agreed. I want to see what the Vikings team total is, because I feel like this could be an explosion game where they just come out crazy, because they just did. I don't know how much of that London game you watched. They did not deserve to win that game at all. The Saints gave it to them. The refs gave it to them. It was ugly. They had 2 drop touchdowns. That's going to go into the number, I feel like. Let me look real quick, see what the team.
And this would be a game that I probably would look to actually bet, but I don't like playing teams off London. I like that teams have made their own decisions to not have the bye and to do that. Like they have their own choice in that matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even saying you'd want the bye this early, but I don't want to pick on it. I'm not really looking to lay the points coming home from London, but I still have a hard lean to Minnesota.
Yeah. Team total 26.5. I don't hate that. I know the Bears will play slow, and dictate the pace if they can. I don't hate that team total. This is usually I go into this Thursday show with probably 4 to 5 bets made, and I have 1 bet made this week. I just didn't really love anything on the slate, so hopefully I can talk myself through things with you and find something. But we'll get there when we get there. But so we'll move on to the Dolphins, 3-point favorites on the road in New Jersey versus the Jets off of that win versus the Steelers. How you liking Zach Wilson under center?
I'm a big Zach Wilson stan. And to me, it's just something I look at with all the young quarterbacks. Like, I know there's mistakes. He's made a few of them, but the ceiling plays, there's enough of them on tape where it's like, this guy could be really good. And I'm kind of the opinion that, like, I'd rather die with a guy who can make ceiling plays than like think I'm going to squeeze the most out of this mediocre player.
Right.
Like, if that makes any sense, because to be Allen, to be Mahomes, to get on that sort of level that even like, you know, Burrow and Herbert, like they're trying to sort of break through. They're capable of making ceiling plays. Can they do it enough? So that's just my thoughts on quarterbacks. And if you look at the top plays from Wilson last year, they're just incredible. And if you remember Josh Allen's first couple years, it was, I don't want to call it the same because you have to make progress.
Yeah, but he had those ceiling plays.
It would be like, you would see the ceiling play. You'd be like, holy shit. Then there'd be a mistake. You'd be like, how dumb are you? Like, where is your awareness?
Exactly.
Why did you do that? How did you not feel that pocket? Why did you throw that ball? And then there'd be another ceiling player. Like, okay, well, if like we see what we're
working with,
if we can lose like the bad, this thing could be insane. Like we all saw that even in Allen's rookie year. And I'm not projecting Allen, but I feel that with Wilson.
Similar vibe. I know what you're saying.
That being said, it kind of feels like a good spot for Miami, who was in a horrible spot a week ago, Thursday night, short rest. I don't like the injury report, even beyond the Tua stuff. Now, I don't know if Howard practiced today. That would be a big loss. But I just feel like this line might be smaller than it should have been. The Jets are off these crazy comebacks, like so awesome, galvanize like moments, but I don't know how well that they've played. This isn't a knock on Tua. It's just more of a statement to the offense. I think Teddy can come in there and hit those guys.
He's a viable backup for sure.
Yeah. That's why they pay him like a top backup, and they're not asking him to throw 50-yard passes, nor are they asking Tua to do that. Get the ball into Waddle, Hill's hands. Maybe find Gesicki with a seam buster.
It's my guy.
I lean Dolphins, but I'd love for the Jets to put on a show and the Jets to be 3-2, tied with the Dolphins, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa. Like I'm here for that story, Matt. I'm a closet Jets fan as well, but my lean is to the Dolphins.
All right, before I give my bit, what do you think the line would be if Tua was a full go? I would say 5.5.
Yeah, that would have been my thought. I mean, the combination of the Jet comeback and Tua getting hurt, 5.5. That being said,
I don't know how much of a drop off Teddy is. I really don't.
I don't either. But Xavier Howard, I think, would be a huge
That's big.
Loss.
Yes.
Like, that defense is so, I don't want to say they're underrated, but they do things that when you look at the talent on paper, you're like, how are they capable of doing that outside of Xavier? So if he's not there, I might do a total flip. But
Byron Jones are both day to day, which is significant.
Well, Byron Jones sucks. I mean, he literally stole the Dolphins' money. And hey, good for you. That's I don't know. Some guys want to be great. Some guys just get contract number 2 and they're content. It is what it is.
So my thing is going to be more fantasy related with this game. And I kind of wish Tua was playing, not for the Dolphins, just because he kind of ramps up the pace of the offense. In week 1, after week 1, I touted Joe Flacco at $4,300, I think it was, as to hammer play, because in week 1, he threw the ball 59 times, not a typo. He threw the ball 59 times. That is like peak Brady levels. So Joe Flacco's throwing the ball that much. They're not going to be scared to let Zach Wilson air it out. If Tua was playing the game a little bit of a faster pace, I was kind of hoping the Dolphins can get ahead, have the Jets throwing, because Zach Wilson's not that highly priced. He's only $5,100, $5,300. I think it's still a decent play. I don't love it as much because you got to go both ways. Pace of play is huge. I kind of wish Tua was playing for that aspect of things, but I think Zach Wilson is a viable start at $5,300 for a cheap quarterback.
I'm very bullish on Wilson. I had props on him that got canceled because he didn't start week 1, like over touchdown.
Really?
Yeah, like it was 21.5. I thought that was, I'm upset. He still might hit those. I mean it.
No, I totally agree. We will move on to one of the uglier games in the slate. Don't have much to say about it. Probably not going to be tuned into this game much. Titans head to DC. What is your thought here? This is ugly.
Yeah, not many thoughts. And Matt, it's such a packed. What do they got? There's like 3, 5, 7, 9 games at one. There'll probably be some elimination baseball. Even if you got your 5, 6, 7 TV setup, something's not
making it.
Something's got to hit the cutting room floor. And as my buddies have been chucking it up in our group text about the TV schedule this weekend, this one doesn't have much of a lifeline. I don't really have a ton to say about it. The Commanders have looked horrible, and it's embarrassing to say. I think I want to bet them. I don't really have a strong case other than I expect them to get off the mat, and that's a pathetic gambling angle, but that's where I am here, Matt.
I love the Titans as underdogs. We've seen it too many times. Now they have some expectations. They're favored on the road. The Carson Wentz was like QB1 or QB2 through like 3 weeks. They can move the ball. They have the offensive weapons. I agree with you. I think they get off the mat and maybe get a win here. I think I'll bet that 2.5. I think I will. We'll see when we get there.
But if
Anything
like
else?
the Titans are up 14-0 when you first see the score, you're not even like, okay, yeah, the Commanders are total swag, I guess.
Yeah, this game's ugly. We will move on to another weird game. We saw the Lions somewhat have expectations last week, and I bid it, and I shouldn't have. So Patriots 3-point favorite, a little bit of a QB situation there. Obviously, I like the Lions to get back on track because they are feisty. What do you think here? I mean, it depends on the injury report.
This is a tough one for me. I'm tempted to lean the Patriots that they'll find a way to neutralize, but it is really hard to have an opinion on this game with that current Lions injury report. The Lions are healthy. I'd be real intrigued about this one. The Patriots, they're far from perfect, but they can still run the ball really well, Matt. We saw it again last week.
Yeah.
And you wish that they would be far more willing to have let Zappy try a first or second down play action instead of being so goddamn predictable.
Yeah, that was
the Lions give it up to everybody. I'm going to take the Patriots here, but it's a game I do not love. And I'm very much like everyone in NFL orbit. Like, it's win or lose. Like, I don't know. It's nice to see the Lions. Like, positive vibes, I guess, would be the right term. Despite having a defense that gives up the most points per game, can the Patriots take advantage of it? Yeah, I think they can have a 12-play drive where they run it 10 times and score a touchdown.
So now I'm going through this. I'm building my lineup through my head. Like Zach Wilson, Leonard Fournette, and I love Damian Harris. I think the Lions, as the number one scoring offense thus far in the season, they play fast. I know the Patriots have a decent defense, but I think they'll still be able to score in this game. Mac Jones, if he plays, is limited. If Bailey Zappi goes, they're not really throwing him too much. I think Damian Harris is in for another big game. I mean, it's tough to say with Ramondre Stevenson. They're priced very similar for a reason. I give the nod to Harris for sure. Pay the $100 extra, whatever. So I think that's where I'm going so far in DFS. We got Zach Wilson, Leonard Fournette, and Ramondre Stevenson. I'm going to go against you. I think the Lions will get it done this week. We will move on. Unless you have more to say.
No, it's not a game like I'd fight anybody on. I wouldn't try to talk you off of it. I don't think it's a real money position for me.
Okay. We will move on, and I'll let you go as long as you want with this one. Your Chargers head to Cleveland. Or how are the vibes in LA right now, in San Diego, whatever you want to say? A little bit of injuries going on, so I know it's tough, but we should be an okay spot.
Yeah, I mean the injury bug has hit the Chargers hard, even with their reputation of being hurt, and I don't know. I never would have thought the season would feel in such a desperate place as we started October, Matt. Like there's not really a scenario could have envisioned. And you hear me talking like they're 1-3, and I think a lot of people we realize the Jags are cool and off to a hot start. I think in another 6 weeks, we'll have just a different opinion on the Jags, and you'll see an early a loss to the Jags on anyone's schedule, and it's not going to feel like it does in this moment. It is more the injuries. The Browns have an ability to run all over the Chargers. That is a concern. The Chargers have an ability to just pass all over the Browns. The Browns are getting lit up in the air, Matt. And who have they played? They've played Mariota. They've played Trubisky. They've played Flacco.
They've played Baker. Baker.
They are getting upchucked by every quarterback. Gets that ball in the air. Do I wish Keenan Allen was playing? I really do. In better news, it looks like Parham is going to be back. So maybe
your guy.
Like Parham and Everett little things running out there at the same time. If the Blue Jays aren't in a game 3 on Sunday, I'm actually going to plan to drive to this game. So we'll see. I guess it's which weakness steps up. Is it going to be that Browns secondary? Is it going to be the Chargers able to force the Browns? You don't even have to force the Browns to not run the ball. You just have to make them stall in the red zone, truth be told. I mean, you'd hate for them to take up huge chunks of clock. I don't think Clowney is going to play. I'm not sure about Garrett.
If they're both out, that's huge.
That would be a huge bonus. Yeah, I don't know. There's no real result here that would surprise me that much. Herbert's going for his 8th straight road game, which would be an NFL record of 300 yards or more. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I lean Chargers. I'll bet Chargers. I've even seen some twos show up, which interesting to
Matters.
make that what you may. But Chargers for me. I would probably think that Eckler train continues as well, Matt.
Yeah, Eckler was in my write-ups last week. It was just a matter of time thing. We knew he was going to get going. He did. Hopefully that stays because I'm very high on him this year in fantasy. He's still not crazily priced. I know Chubb is in this game too. He's an amazing fantasy running back. I think Eckler, Herbert stack is a very viable option. All those dump offs. And like you said, the Cleveland Browns have not been great defending the pass. So if they're struggling defending those receivers downfield, that should give Eckler lanes on those dump offs. I think that's going to be a great opportunity for the Chargers. I think this game is huge for our win total bets that I'm tailing you on.
Yeah.
What do
We need this
I know
one. We need this
we
one.
need this one for sure.
This one,
So,
yeah, this one. They can get this one. I can take my first sort of breath in a few
no,
weeks.
I agree.
And then it would feel like there'd be this hinge game versus the Broncos on Monday where maybe they can create a little separation and have this. Okay, just quickly, I guess, on the Chargers. It doesn't feel like it's this doom and gloom situation that it felt like out of the Jags game. Bosa, Slater go down. They're not replaceable, although the rookie left tackle was outstanding last week. But you sort of come back into reality, which is hard for me. And you're like, hey, the team's really talented. They're less talented than they were a month ago, but they're not bad. There's still a lot of talent on this Chargers team. And they got to step up. They got to find a way to stop the run. Staley got a lot of pieces in there, Matt, that he wanted that fit his scheme. I need him to scheme me up a defensive win. That would really calm my nerves.
Awesome.
I need my defensive-minded coach to scheme me up a win, scheme me up. I trust Herbert to just be awesome and do his thing. I need you to scheme me up something fantastic, and I'm running out of patience.
Yeah, I totally agree. Fans, right? I lean Chargers here with you. I think this game is huge for us down the road. So we will move on to the game that I'm not sure why isn't Thursday Night Football. There's no way this game doesn't finish 19-15 with 2 missed extra points. Houston and Jacksonville. What do you think goes down in this game? Do you think the Jags cover? Do you think they keep doing well? I know they kind of had a damper last week. Everyone was all over them last week.
Yeah, and that was versus the Eagles, who everyone is, anointing in tough weather conditions on the road. I don't want to, not a free pass by any means, but it's another touchdown spread where I'm laying the points, Matt. Mm-hmm. Houston isn't very good. They can be picked apart. I think Doug Peterson can coach laps around Lovie Smith. He coached laps around Brandon Staley. And the Chargers, they had no problem really moving the football against the Texans. I don't think the Jags will either. I think the Jags D is can be a machine this year potentially. Yeah, that's I'm gonna lay the 7 with the Jags. Lawrence fumbled 4 times. Jags bounce back. Houston sucks.
Yeah, I'm playing the Jags D this week in fantasy. I think they're a good start at 3-4. And I've said if you guys listen to the show, you know how high I am on the Jaguars offense every single week. I think the Lawrence stack with one of those receivers, that's the only hard part. Which one of those Jags receivers are you starting? We saw in 3 weeks 3 different receivers do well. That's a tough thing that I'm not going to say, okay, start Christian Kirk, start Zay Jones, because it's tough. I just don't know which one of those guys is going to do well, but I love the Lawrence with X receiver stack. It's always going to be cheap and they're always going to perform. So I think the Jags cover as well. We will move on to the Seahawks versus Saints. Now, this was one of the games, I didn't bet it, but this is one of the games I was strongly leaning. I really like the Saints here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the Saints. And in doing my spread pick show with Mayo this week, I think the Seahawks might have been one of his top picks. I don't see it. For starters, and I guess I've been in my own little orbit, and baseball playoffs is starting. I'm hyper curious if Seattle, having played Detroit last week, did they fly? We see a lot of teams like pick a place on the Eastern Seaboard and just stay for this game. To find out if they Seattle to Detroit, back to Seattle, now coming pretty much all the way back east, probably even a farther flight than Detroit going,
Yeah,
doing
yeah. All the way down.
that's an insane machine. The Saints, you were on the Vikings, you sweated that. They kind of hung around there. I think they get their bodies healthy. I don't really Dalton Winston, not a big switch for me. This feels like a trappy game where people might want the Seahawks. I'm laying it with you, Matt. I like the Saints. This game I see myself investing in the Saints by the time we get to Sunday. Real money.
I agree. I need one out of Thomas, Kamara, Jameis. Give me one of them like being active. I think that's going to be all I need to like put the money down on the Saints. Even without them, I think they still can do it. But I just need one of those as clarity to play in this game. Then I'll probably lay the 5.5. I mean, the Saints did everything they possibly could to not win that game, and they still covered the closing number versus a superior Vikings team. But the Seahawks are just so horrendous. I don't know how. I mean, okay, they beat Detroit and they beat the Broncos on their Super Bowl. Yeah. Make that whatever you want. Now, there's going to be a time where they lose 7 straight, and we're like, okay, yeah, those are the Seahawks we all expected. Maybe that starts this week, hopefully, because we're kind of aligned there.
And I will, I'll just on a macro thought on the Seahawks. Houston's doing it right. You see that QB class next year? They've hoarded the picks. Yeah. We're going to be all on Houston's wagon next May and April.
I'm waiting for my guys.
I'm already prepared for that. For us to be what's the guy, the pastor everyone makes fun of there? And Nick says that the guy running Houston that he's low hanging for easy jokes. He's finally going to get his compliments because they're going to fire Lovie Smith. They'll probably hire a real coach. There's going to be a total reboot in Houston.
I love how you say real coach.
Opinion, they're going to be oh my God, why did we win these 5 games? Why did we win those 6 games? Because they're playing better. They're better than we thought. Clearly, there's something good happening there that I don't want to totally shit on. But part of it feels like this team's going to hate their 6 wins because they're going to have all those multiple picks. They're really going to wish they pulled a Houston, sort of like we feel they're more capable of. But yeah, give me the Saints. I'll be real money, Matt.
Yeah, I think that might be our squad ride this week. All right, 49ers laying out a touchdown on the road at the Panthers, which I never like. But as a Panthers fan, keep losing. I want one of those quarterbacks as well. I mean, I don't know if we're going to have the 1 or 2 pick. I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen I'm so high on Sam Hartman from Wake Forest. He's not going to be a top 5 pick, but if we can get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, I'm cool with that too. So Panthers plus 6.5. I think that's in play. What do you think here?
So I guess this is the only, at least we've done so many games, and this is the first time I'm going to take an underdog, giving late who's getting back all these points because all these 6-point favorites. And you know what? I don't even have the game theory to defend the pick. I can only defend it by just feels like a spot game. Where the 49ers off that Monday night win, we see it all the time. I've just watched football too long. I'm sure a lot of the people, yourself watching, this one just feels weird to me. And that's part of the fun in betting football is you'll see all these games and you'll get together with your buddies and you'll all have a different opinion on what that weird game is. This is the weird one for me. This stinks. As dominant as the 49ers are and their defense. And I guess if they won 28-3, I'm not shocked. But this one, it reeks. It's Panthers or nothing for me.
I couldn't agree with you more. The 49ers beating the Rams, we've seen that too many times. That's not really a surprise. Them on the road after a big Monday night divisional win across the country against the Panthers team whose defense is literally legit. They score a defensive touchdown a game, it seems. But Baker and Christian McCaffrey, oh my God, these weapons, they look horrible. There's going to be a time they kind of gel. Don't know if it's this time. The total's 39 for a reason, but I think the 49ers come out a little flat. I think the Panthers cover this number. Would not be surprised if they got the win because as a Panthers fan that we always beat a good team once a year. Like we went to Arizona one last year. That was crazy. Now I don't see them. I could see them winning this game. I think I talked myself into that 6.5 because, like I do every week on the show, kind of get myself on a bet. Do you think this line will get through 7, or you think it's stuck there? I haven't looked at any splits, but I
No,
feel
I
like
don't think so.
I think it'll stay
Like
where
I
it is.
think a lot of people kind of might see it as maybe how we do. I don't see it getting there, but that'd be my guess. If I'm wrong,
Yeah,
don't
I
call me out on it.
I just locked in at 6.5. That's my second bet of the week. So we will move on to the next game. Rams are 5.5-point favorites at home off a loss against Cooper Rush and the Cowboys. This feels like a stay away for me. Rams look pretty ugly, and the Cowboys have been feisty with Cooper Rush. What's your thoughts here?
So yeah, this feels like a trap game, and I really like the Rams. They look bad. They do not look very good. I think this could be an opportunity for them to get themselves off the mat. And as I've done a few times, I don't really have the strongest X's and O's case. I'm really just here to say from this moment on, like what Cooper Rush has done, that's amazing. Good for you. He's got equity if he never starts again to be a backup for a decade. He's going to get like 3 years, $40 million from the Colts or something this offseason. Like he's done that. But Matt, from this moment on, and I'll double down next week. And I don't know when Dak's coming back, but there's no way Cooper Rush going undefeated. Like that's
No.
like the shit's got to hit a wall. I'm
Yeah.
stepping in front of Cooper Rush.
I don't
Like
hate
that,
too.
I'm doing it. I'm stepping. And if I don't even know who Dallas plays next week, I think they play the Eagles. That's it. Eagles is a look ahead spot. Huge game next week. Give me the Rams. It's that weird 5.5 number. The only problem is people like to make fun of the Chargers when they'll play teams and it'll be 90% for the crowd, but they protect the Rams. This is gonna be a gong show. This is gonna be as bad as any Charger game ever has. And I'm not even insulting the Rams.
I'm just how it is. It's just how it is.
It's just the reality of it.
It's how it is. Yeah.
It's to be honest, it's actually sad, and the NFL should be real concerned. And I'll tell you why. Not this game. This game is the Cowboys. This game is an outlier. The Rams did not make a dent in LA since winning the Super Bowl. That is crazy. And it's demoralizing as a Charger fan just to think we could potentially, God willing, it'd be my dream to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
And we're still not even going to move the needle in Los Angeles. What else as a football team, as an organization, the Rams can literally have done nothing more. The guy built a $5 billion stadium that was $3 billion over cost. Every superstar that comes available, they acquire. They don't care about a cap. They want a Super Bowl, and they cannot make a dent in the market. It almost shows you how hopeless it is for the Chargers, but the NFL should not, other than getting that stadium built, I don't know what positive is going to come of the
I don't know
LA
what more they can
experiment.
do either. That's the thing. Yeah,
I'm stepping in front of Cooper Rush here. It's just got to end. It's got to end.
I don't think the Cowboys win this game, but I think the Rams win on a late drive, backdoor touchdown, or a field goal. But I think it's are the Rams the survivor pick this week? Are the Rams the money line parlay leg this week? I think the Rams are money line parlay or tease or nothing because we saw what happened with, I know the Cowboys don't have the best defensive line. They have the best defensive player in Micah Parsons. We saw what the Rams offensive line looked like against a good 49ers defensive front. Micah Parsons might have a career game this week. Matt Stafford couldn't stand back there for 3.5 seconds before there was guys in his face and he couldn't get the ball off. That's what worries me for the 5.5.
They better win first down. Yeah. They better win first down because when you lose first down to the Cowboys, as I saw, there's some NFL films footage of a Todd, I don't know what one coach doing his coaching session. If you lose first down to Dallas, they unleash that guy on you. And then you're screwed. You're screwed.
Yeah, that's the X factor.
I still lean Rams. Again, this doesn't come from some methodical X's and O's or modeling. It's just I think it's time to step in front of this dream that is Cooper Rush.
Yeah, and I agree.
For me, at least.
I probably will get to the Rams in some form. We'll see when we get there. All right. Now this is I said I made one bet this week. This is the only bet I made. I played Cardinals plus 5.5 at home against the Eagles. Now the Eagles are great. I think nothing against them, but the Cardinals, they do this once a year, early season. They go on a amazing run, and everyone's like, okay, the Cardinals might be the team this year. Might make some noise in the postseason. They never do. But I'm just looking forward to that early season run coming now against the Eagles team, winning 4 straight, looking amazing on the road. And the Cardinals see the NFC West. They're all 2-2. They're 4 weeks into the season. All right, we have a real shot at this. This isn't the strongest division. We could have our first title since 2015. So I think this is a big, okay, the Cardinals are here doing their early season thing again. So that's my only pick I made so far besides the Panthers now. Cardinals plus 5.5.
I like the Cardinals as well. I haven't betted. Obviously, the Eagles are the darlings of the moment. Listen, good for the Eagles, but the team that's the best in September doesn't win the Super Bowl. Like, just
Never.
go look at it. And Arizona can tell you that because they've won that. They've won that trophy
past 2
before.
years.
They've won that trophy before too. You got to be peaking late December going into the playoffs. That's the team that people are going to be afraid of. I'm not saying the Eagles can't be that team, but I don't care who's hot in September. I like Arizona. I haven't bet it yet. Maybe I could get there. It's a look ahead for the Eagles. Again, like I said with Dallas, they got that big game next week. It's in prime time. Well, I haven't even looked. I'll bet $50 that game's in prime time. I don't have to look. Certainly Dallas Eagles in prime time. Give me the Cardinals at home. I think it's gonna be a really fun, close game.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared. We're almost 2 aligned this week. I think we have had one opposite pick so far.
Oh, there've been a couple.
We'll see how that goes. But I like this game for DFS. I think this is a very stackable game. I think this game goes over the total. Whoever you want, I think this is chase it with receivers one side, quarterbacks, everything. I think this game is the best DFS game to play this week. All right, we will move on. Sunday night football. Jeff, you ready for this weekend that I got coming up for me? I have Friday night, Nebraska at Rutgers. Saturday, Mets Padres wildcard game. Sunday night, Bengals Ravens. I'll be at all 3. I am excited. Going to be tired, but it's going to be awesome, and I'm looking forward to this game to cap it off.
So I don't want to put you into a pretzel, but I've kind of myself. I'm in a pretzel at the moment, Matt, because I'm going to the Blue Jays game tomorrow, Friday game 1. On Saturday, I don't know, maybe be watching college football, watching the Blue Jays game. And on Sunday, I'd like to go to Cleveland. It's a 4.5, 5-hour drive for me to see the Chargers. The only thing that's stopping me at the moment is I do not want to be at a Chargers game if the Blue Jays are in an elimination game at the same time. I'd rather just be in the man cave, multiple screen, pacing around the couch for 4 hours. Although I really do want to drive to the Charger game because as a Charger fan in Toronto, this is probably the closest thing I can drive to outside of Buffalo. So I would like to do that. It doesn't quite live up to your weekend, but I've got a special one of my own plan. I'll give you my thought on this game. I'm tempted to say it's my game of the year, only because if you watched my content leading into the football season, I spotlighted this game as a game that is for sure going to be a super lock and a game that I love. Now, I didn't bet the game 5 weeks ago or whatever, but I just love the Ravens. I love the Ravens. The Bengals put 100 points on these guys last year. They put 1,000 yards. Does the Ravens defense still suck? Yeah, it's got problems. Is it way healthier despite the injuries today than it was a year ago? Yeah. Is Ronnie Stanley coming back? Yeah. Is John Harbaugh just one of the great coaches in football that rarely ever loses a football game on the margins? Special teams always outstanding. I agree with that call to go for a touchdown because he's
100%.
My defense sucks and Josh Allen's going to score a touchdown. That's what people got to realize. They're not knitting. They're thinking about these things. At least you trust Harbaugh is in a way some other coaches probably aren't. And he was honest in that explanation after the game. The Bengals, I don't want to they do not look good. They won last week. Joe Burrow he made that great throw to Higgins. Great throw.
He's hurt. He's literally hurt.
He does not look right. Like he does not look right. I don't know how to explain that, but if you're watching it, you just see it. There's like these plays, like the throw. It just doesn't look right to me. It seems like a lot of people see that as well. Who have the Bengals played? The Steelers week 1,
Dallas,
the Jets, Dallas with Cooper Rush, and last week, who was it? The Dolphins, the Tua, that whole thing mid-game. Who knows if they even win that thing if Tua doesn't get hurt? They didn't play no Lamar.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Embarrassingly like to run the ball on first downs into a cloud with Joe Mixon for a yard.
I totally agree. You saw that stat, right? How the Ravens have been losing the games for 14 seconds this year, and they're 2-2 in the games they lost, something like that. They've been trailing in the 2 games they lost, but for 14 seconds total, and they lost both the games. Now, I live in Baltimore. I don't know if you know, I live in Baltimore. Everyone seems to be in a little they're huge Ravens fans here, massive. Everyone seems to be a little on edge and dialed in, like going into this week. AFC North game against the Bengals, who stole something from them last year. The whole division was a game and a half apart, something like that. Like you said, game of the year maybe. They are focused and dialed because the Ravens could easily be 4-0, probably should be. I think they get going. I think the Ravens -3 might be it. This is what they're talking through things like I'm saying. Yeah. I think the Ravens -3.
I don't love it. It's my super lock. It's my top pick in the podcast I did with Mayo this week. I want to call it my game of the year just to be stubborn and be like, I said this 6 weeks ago. Like in golf, we do this all the time. Like I made this claim 6 weeks ago. This game is here. I'm not gonna get off it today. But I still love the game. I hope, put it this way, if I have a good Sunday, it's all going on the Ravens. If I have a bad Sunday, we're going to try to win it all back on the Ravens. Either way, it's all going to be about the Ravens for me on Sunday.
All right.
Hopefully, and
I can be. Yeah. I will be there. I'll be there for you. So we're going to have good vibes at that game. I'm excited for that game. We'll move on. Monday Night Football. Do the Raiders get their annual win in Kansas City, or do the Chiefs continue what they did last week?
Last week, you could say last year, sort of the way we broke down the Ravens and the Bengals and what the Bengals did to the Ravens last year. The Chiefs did that to the Raiders. Now it's the Chiefs, it's Mahomes. I think it was less surprising. But we all went into last year like, no, the Raiders always play them tough. I think it was the same story. It was like 90 total points, 1,000 total yards. Every game was like 45-10 or something. They were over. They were ass whippings. I don't know. Prime time at Arrowhead. I'd love for the Raiders to fight and throw a punch. Yeah. Shit.
Seems like a stay away for me. Seems like a stay away. I don't really.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't Sunday. It's in prime time, so I'm gonna be forced to bet it. Yeah. Feels like honestly, I kind of feel like I need 10 points to take the Raiders, though. Like that's the truth of the matter. I don't want, and you're not gonna rule number 1 is you don't tease against the Chiefs. That's the dumbest move because
they score
7-14, they could obliterate your teaser. You're not playing Denver or Indy. There's certain teams you take all those points. No, I don't take extra points against the Bills. I don't take extra points against the Chiefs. I'll just stay away because those games get out of hand. I don't really have an opinion here. I'm not going to lie. I hope the Raiders shock them. That just as a Charger fan, that could keep the division maybe tighter, but I wouldn't bet on it. And at 7 points, I'll pick Mahomes, that Hornets nest that's Arrowhead.
Yeah, like I said, I tease every primetime game side and total, and the public's gonna do this too. Chiefs and the over, that.
Oh yeah, who's
gonna argue against that? I'm probably gonna do it just because I'm gonna try to go over 50% on the primetime teasers, but it's so much too obvious. Chiefs and over, okay, 6 points, that's over 40, 45. Chiefs -1, okay, that seems way too obvious. I guess that's my play here, that's my thought here, but I don't love Chiefs -7. And fantasy wise, they're all viable options. Stack Mahomes with Kelsey. It's going to be popular, but you're going to make points. And that's pretty much all I have to say.
I'm just staring
Any,
down at my phone, Matt, deciding how I'm betting this game that starts in 5 minutes. I'm about to bet the
oh,
Colts, so
all
I
right.
don't feel
Well,
good. I don't feel that good about it. I'm looking for some first touchdown.
I
You got
did the
anything?
I just did my primetime teaser. I did Broncos +3 with the over. That's what I did. I hate
No.
these into 0, but I think it's good tonight.
All right.
All right.
Let's
Well, that about wraps things up. Any final thoughts from you, Jeff?
No, go Blue Jays.
Go Blue Jays,
Uh
go Mets. Imagine that matchup, Blue Jays Mets. It could happen.
that would be wild. Yeah, go Blue Jays, go I don't I'm a closet Padres fan just because of my
I'll let you root for the
association to
Padres.
Southern California, but I'm not really expecting much there.
Right. All right. Well, that about wraps things up for our NFL Week 5 preview. Thank you for joining me, Jeff Feinberg. You know where to find us on Twitter. Hit us up if you have any questions, and we will see you next week. Peace out. Thank you for joining us.